Okay, today I want to talk about um, how would I put this politely? The way the masculine perceive the law of attraction, success, wealth, fame, our purpose in this life, the law of attraction in a sense of success appears to be when you get everything you want. And if you get everything you want, you must be on top. You must know the game. You have it figured out, and other people don't. And if you have attracted a narcissist in your life, it must be your fault. Let's victim blame as much as we can, because we need to kick them while they're down. It's what we do when we're successful. I mean, arrogance and pride and everything doesn't come before the fall, does it? Or does it? Now, I really don't want to step on toes or hurt or injure the masculine out there in the new age metaphysical spiritual community. And there are many women who speak like this too, but they are really in a more masculine energy. Now, as we know, you see a lot of people, feminist activists that talk about the patriarchy and down with the patriarchy. And there's really a lot of ways the patriarchy is manifesting besides in politics. And what I mean by that is it's not all left versus right, because we all know that's a game that's rigged by the big powers that be. But even some of these masculine new age spiritual men, and when I say men, I'm saying like they are men, but they're imbalanced in how much masculine energy they are manifesting. They're not embracing their divine feminine energy or honoring or respecting the divine feminine energy when they think they know everything based on exterior successes. And I feel like the feminine voice is somewhat snuffed out by overpowering men who think they have it all figured out. A lot of them are young and haven't even begun to know what suffering is. Even if they think they have, it's obvious that they don't when it's so easy for them to point fingers at those who are weaker than them or those who are suffering. And I've been seeing it a lot. It's nothing new. Yes, what triggered this specific video was a recent male tarot reader who decided to tell everyone why they were attracting narcissists. And apparently, it is your vibration. And if you're vibrating negatively, you attract negative. According to his, I guess he plucked one law out of Hermeticism and decided to go with it. But if you really are a mystic, I have been a mystic my entire life. I was pretty much, snuffed out many times because of it. But I have seen all the laws of Hermetics, and I think this person is failing to understand the law of rhythm. And this person has, gone through a lot in his life. He has a lot of good advice to give people. That's why I say I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to make enemies. He's not the first nor the last person who's going to talk this way, okay? So it's nothing personal at all. And obviously, I don't have a lot of followers, do I? I don't have a lot of money. I don't have some success rate to prove I'm right and he is wrong. But if that is what we use to gauge someone's wisdom, we are all flawed. I mean, I look at both Jesus and Buddha, who both chose to give up everything, and they are some of the most well known figures in history. They have changed more lives than almost anyone I know. Solomon, he had it all too, right? But he chose to keep it all. He became a glutton for punishment because he had to have everything and he was never happy. He said, "Life is meaningless. It's a chasing after the wind. Boo hoo hoo, poor me. I have women sucking my dick all day long and I'm still not happy." And it's because he was shallow. He was conceited. He was a narcissist. The typical, I have everything. I'm wise. But he had no empathy and he had no love. And if you don't have love, you're nothing but a clanking gong, even if you can speak the voice of angels. Even if you know all of the Hermetic laws, even if you understand the metaphysical tricks to get everything you want in life, that's not the point of life, guys. We're not here to get what we want. We need to wake up and realize that all we're doing is forming extremely strong attachments. So we're probably going to come back into another life and figure out that that's not what makes us happy. And anyway, I could go on this forever and ever. And so I'm going to try and break down what I can off the top of my head, even though I deeply want to write blogs on this or actually write a detailed book about this, because I think people are so deluded and wrong and dangerous, to be honest. And even though some of these new age masculines are giving a lot of wonderful advice, helping a lot of people who need it, they speak from a place of they know everything about the law of attraction and they know exactly what it takes to get what they want. And, you know, I don't feel like even me, I don't feel like I need to come from a place of I know everything and I'm better than them. I actually think it's really beneficial for us to listen to and observe people who are not like us, people who have different opinions from us, people who have different life experiences than us. I already have like a hate stalker on one of my other small channels. I haven't done anything wrong, but I know I made a comment on my main channel somewhere, standing up for women's rights in a certain area. And apparently, this person took it so personal because they don't really care if women are hurt or raped or violated. They just want what they want. And, this world is so full of hatred and it's so full of bitter people that will go after and attack and hate someone who has a different view than them. And I don't want that to be what this video is about at all. I honestly do value even these masculine metaphysical teachers out there who have a different say than me. And like I said, I do feel like in a way they do help people because people do need to raise their vibration. They do need to want to consciously attract positive into their life. That is not a lie. We really need to do that. But is that the only reason why you attract a narcissist? Oh, hell to the mother fudging no. Not even close. And it's really sad that some people think that because a city on a hill cannot be hidden. A light will pull in the moths. Period. Period. There's no way around that. That is not a lie. If I'm wrong, prove it to me. Here's what I have had to say to people who think they are right because of the law of attraction. They think they can create anything that they want, regardless of what anyone else wants. And if that's the case, I want you, all of you out there, which, that they're probably not ever going to listen to me, of course. I know I'm a small timer in this world. But any of you out there who hear this, why don't you challenge someone who thinks that they created everything in their life? They kind of became their own god, so to speak, right? It is in a way a form of narcissism in itself. So they will tell you, this you're attracting narcissists because of your low vibration, but they don't realize that in the process they may also be becoming a narcissist, because we have this assumption that narcissists are just people that hurt other people. Narcissism is not really about that. Narcissism is about I, me. And in that process, they hurt other people. So if it's always about what I want, I have to have, I manifested this, I created that, I am successful because I am good. Me. Does it or does it not sound narcissistic and like self worship? And yes, the great creator is inside of us and we do co create. And the kingdom of heaven is inside of us. We are magnificent. We are like deities and celestial beings ourselves. We are so powerful. We just have been duped and brainwashed not to believe that. But if we think for one moment that we can go above and beyond the creator and manifest what we want, whether or not it is in God's will, we're stupid and we're idiots and we're in danger. Okay. So anyone out there who thinks that they can manifest anything they want, I ask them and I challenge them right now, make the sun move back 3 days time right now. Let's see how good you are at that. Because if you cannot do that, you've proven to me that you cannot manifest everything that you want, period. And if, you're manifesting your entire life, then you also manifested me, didn't you? You manifested someone who challenges you and challenges your authority in your own life. I challenge you to a duel, a spade a spade. Let's do it. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because we are much more limited in what we can manifest than we also want to believe. Yet we're much more powerful than we realize. And so there's this massive balancing act. Many people in shamanic cultures, many people in deep ancient spiritual communities, they understand this. That's why they're humble. That's why they laugh things off. That's why they don't ask for a lot of money. They don't even have the desire to manifest it. They understand that physical success is not a gauge in your spiritual growth. And what else was I thinking in that regard? I know, okay, there's this another masculine tarot reader which I actually find very, very balanced, and it's the autistic mystic. And I don't want to name drop because I don't want to, equate myself with people. And yes, that person has a mystic in their name, so do I. But if you were to see my natal chart, there's so many things in my chart that says I was going to be a mystic anyway. It's just what it is. But I have heard this person repeatedly talk about how he uses this quote, and he says the person who has this original quote, and I can't remember, I could look it up, but I'm not going to right now. And it's about, being well adjusted in a very sick society isn't really a gauge of genuine health, is it? It's something along those lines. And I love that because it's true. Just because you think you're really successful and well adjusted in today's society and very, you know, on top of your game, it really doesn't mean that you're that healthy spiritually. I hate to tell you. It doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things. So, when I'm talking about the masculine causing issues in the metaphysical community is because they're not taking the time. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And a lot of women that have out of balance masculine in them, they're not taking the time to observe and respect the maternal, the matriarchal, the feminine energy of quit trying to make things happen and just be. Learn to receive. Learn to be receptive. Learn to be still and observe and watch and see. If you're so busy trying to get what you want, you can't actually see what is needed. And the feminine energy is extremely good at being sacrificial, at putting themselves last. They're nurturers. They receive. They are oftentimes forced into submission throughout history and give birth to children. And most of the time, a wise woman is still so good to her children and her spouse. And um, they make a home. They understand receptivity. If you look at matriarchal societies, they never cared much about wealth. They never cared much about building massive empires or militaries because they were so focused in the spiritual realms. They were gentle, they were humble, they were more focused about taking care of nature and the environment and not leaving a footprint and being one with the cycle of life, birth and death. And to me, wealth, I was like walking in this park in Fort Smith and looking at these beautiful trees. There's a lot of homeless people in Fort Smith, and some of them do scare me because of their tweaking. Like they're just all over the place tweaking, right? And I was like, this is rich. Even if you didn't have a home, just walking through this nature with these ancient trees on the river, it is so rich with life and nature. And it's wonderful that even homeless people can taste what genuine wealth is. There's that, couple that's based out of, what is it, Azerbaijan or whatever you pronounce it, that's kind of famous on YouTube now. That's always like cooking outside and gardening. And my mom had mentioned it once a long time ago, but how it looks like their life is so hard. And I was like, are you kidding me? To me, that's what wealth is. That's what being rich is being able to just enjoy the simple things, being one with nature, growing your own food, preparing your own food, and having animals around you. And I mean, to me, we are supposed to be part of nature, not apart from it. It's just like that maybe the hate stalker on my other channel is a vegan and they hate me because I have happy chickens with happy eggs. Every time I post a video about eggs, they downclick it because they don't want anyone to talk about happy chickens or happy eggs because they have a narrative. And the narrative is to be a vegan consumer and spend a lot of money and not care about all of the destruction that both vegans and meat eaters are causing in the world when they purchase goods versus having them at home. And, I absolutely love watching my chickens every day. I love the vegetables I grow with their manure. I love the eggs. And by the time we eat the eggs, they're not even viable to be hatched because after 7 to 10 days, they're no longer viable. So if a chicken chooses not to go broody, they're going to go bad anyway. But anyway, what I'm saying is like the feminine version of wealth, the feminine version of creating is very, very different than the masculine. The masculine wants to take. The masculine wants to force. The masculine wants to create. I mean, there's a lot of good things about the masculine. They're very their ingenuity is amazing. They've created quite a bit of things, but in the process they've destroyed the environment because they never stopped to ask how healthy it was. We may have spaceships and skyscrapers and airplanes, but look at the environmental destruction. Look at the plastics and the metals and the forever chemicals that have resulted from rushing. I think the masculine is always rushing to the next high, the next immediate gratification. And the feminine energy stops to think, what are the repercussions? What are the results? And so I feel like the out of balance masculine is pushing and pushing and pushing us to raise our vibration higher and higher so we can have more and more and more money and more fame and more success and more followers. It means my vibration is high and I am high as a kite. And this is what life is all about. And I'm like, what's going to happen when you quit growing? What's going to happen when the rhythm of the pendulum, if you are going to live by universal laws, if you are going to worship hermetic laws, I mean, I've read the Bible and it talks about this kind of thing. Like, if you put yourself under a certain set of laws, the creator will force you to live by them. So if you are obsessed with hermetic laws and you only want to use the ones that make you feel good, you're going to have to face them all. And what happens when that pendulum swings the other way and you're not so successful anymore? Because every tall cedar must fall, okay? And so if you ride the wave of physical success too high and you start telling everyone, this is how you're successful and this is how you get what you want, I'm sorry, but there is an ebb and a flow. There will be tides that come in and out. There will be seasons when your income runs dry, when your followers start to trickle away. What are you going to do then? Are you going to say, oh, my vibration is low? Sometimes it has nothing to do with your vibration. It just doesn't. You know, I learned that the hard way. I really did, because I had the highest vibration I think I could have ever imagined a few years ago when I ended up with a very covert narcissist who destroyed my life. But because I value myself so much more than when I was younger, I didn't put up with it for as long. I did put up with it for too long, and it destroyed my health, my finances, and everything. But I had married him. This person did wear a mask. They did mirror what they thought I wanted. And as the mask started to slip, because it got harder and harder for him to pretend to be a good guy. He just wasn't a good person. He always wanted everyone to think that he was, but he just wasn't. And he sexually violated me and hurt me so bad. I've had to have surgery, and I have had so many old trauma wounds come up. And, I do remember him from a past life. And in that past life, he really thought he had to have me to be happy. And, I got to thinking about it. And of course, my higher self probably would have said, yes, Lord, I will let him have me in this life so that he can see that even if he has what he wants, he's not going to be happy, because you have to have happiness from within. Sometimes our higher selves sign up for things that us here on the ground, on the front lines, would never sign up for. Because when you're in this holy euphoria, this holy ecstasy on the other side, you do sign up for a lot. A lot of us, and this is just me, because I've had moments where I'm crying in so much pain and I'm like, how on earth, Lord, could you let me go through all of this suffering? And how on earth could all my spirit guides and everyone watch me go through this? And those of you who are listening to this and freak out at metaphysics or spirit guides, go watch some near death experiences, and you'll learn real fast that spirit guides and past lives and stuff are real. If you don't want to believe it, I can't fix stupid. So anyway, I would cry and think, this is so much pain. How can I endure this? Why would I endure this? And then I got to thinking, I'm like, would my higher self sign up for this to prevent someone else from having to go through this? Is this something that someone was going to have to go through? Because, everything that can exist will exist. The Lord, the great creator, is this very expansive energy, and every single space must be filled. Every possible um, existence, every possible scenario that could happen is going to happen. And would my higher self sign up to go through some pain and tragedy to help other people and prevent someone else from having to go through what I went through? Hell yeah, I would. I would sign up again. And I know that, even though I hate myself for it sometimes. And I'm like, why would I sign up for this? This is horrible torture. If you look at my entire natal chart, you can see that I signed up for this. And that's another thing that really bothers me about this law of attraction people and victim shamers of narcissists and everything, is there is so much more to life than their simple, it's like a simpleton viewpoint of your vibration, it makes your world. It's like, are you kidding me? Your natal chart plays a role in it. Your cosmic blueprint, what you signed up for when you were in the higher realms between lives, your karmic contracts. There's You're not the only one. You're not an island unto yourself. Other people matter too. Other people have to go through their journey too. And if that means that you have to suffer some, it means what it means. And it's this idea that it's only about your vibration is bullshit. And I mean, I was so happy and so healthy, and I didn't need anyone, because this person also insinuated that if you attract a narcissist, it's because you don't love yourself and you're empty inside and you need someone and you're codependent. And you think, I'll be happy one day when I find someone. Oh my God, that is totally not what I thought at all. No, my parents did. My parents really thought I needed to find someone because they're the typical old fashioned people that think women need to be married and happy, right? But I didn't. But see, there's so many other people's designs and wants and needs at play besides my own. I was completely content on my own. I was happy. I was healthy. I was independent. And I prayed over all of this. All of the signs. I prayed and prayed and prayed for the Lord to show me if I should be with this person or not. Everything said I should. And it made me really upset that I trusted and it failed miserably and harmed me deeply. But here's the thing, I also gained so much from it. I learned so much from it. I am more blessed from it. For us to think not going through trauma, not going through trials, not going through suffering is a good thing, that's our first world comfort me, baby, instant gratification, selfish, narcissistic mentality. We're not here to be coddled. We're not here to be comfortable. Okay, we're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're gonna have growing pains. There's some old Bible verse talking about why do we groan in this when we learn the lessons in the school of life, right? Why do we groan? I mean, come on, we have to take the damn test, okay? And I don't like it. I want to sit there and go, why, God, why? Like people say, and bitch about it. But I became more of myself through this. I needed this because even though I was extremely happy, extremely content, and everything else, I still was too self effacing, kind of like the Druid Animal Oracle card of the Hind reversed. I was too um quiet about what I believed. And as much as my father tries to project on me and say I'm controlling an alpha like him, I'm not. I keep a lot of my mysticism to myself because I know a lot of the world is still stuck in the Piscean era and can't handle it. They will hate and rage before they will believe this more matriarchal feminine aspect of life. Even the new age movement will rage against this. They don't want to hear this. Okay. So I kept a lot of stuff to myself because I didn't want to hurt anyone. And when I realized that my own parents and everyone else would just rather step on my toes because they want me to just bow down to what they want, and they can invalidate all the abuse I've gone through my whole life. And I could go on and on with that, but that's another story, right? I realized that it's okay to be me, fully, unapologetically, authentically me. And I have nothing to lose, yet I have everything to lose. I cannot hardly make money where I'm at. I'm not financially successful by any means. But I also understand that even in homelessness, there is freedom. And this person that said these things actually went through homelessness. So, I want to respect the person. He's been through a lot. It's just that in that pendulum swang really hard because he went without so long. Now he has so much. But the Lord tests the heart. So the way someone speaks and behaves when they have a lot determines what they have in the future, not what they manifest with their vibration. And so, even though my vibration is much lower now, I would say, than it was before this person came into my life, it's much more humbled. It's so much higher in other ways. I mean, vibration is a multifaceted thing. It really is. And I guess the Lord has just done things to me to make me see things different than the law of attraction group of people. I actually do think that there are demonic spirits latched onto those who are highly successful masculines because they are so successful financially that they want to teach that prosperity gospel, that you can manifest whatever you want gospel. And yes, there's even some women that do it, like the Louise Hay or whatever, and she believes you can get rid of cancer and everything else and just, say this and do that and be this and do this. And I'm not saying that they're bad people, okay? And I'm not saying you shouldn't want to create or manifest. We are definitely meant to create. I'm not denying that. The Lord showed me that years ago. He showed me that in a kind of an ayahuasca type of thing, and I'll go over that some other time, where I couldn't move until I said I am creating. Those words are extremely powerful. The great I am and creating, and we are. And he showed me that day that we are creating by love, through love, and for love, and that's it. If what you're creating is not by love, through love, and for love, that's not what we're supposed to be creating, and that's the problem. A lot of people today want to create physical abundance, buy all the most expensive cars and the most expensive homes, and they don't realize that, like, that's not the treasures you take with you to heaven, okay? That's not what I feel like. That's just nailing Christ back on the cross, okay? Because if he is the word of God, I am the great I am who just was, is, and is to come. And he kind of came in the flesh with this man being Christ. What are we? Okay, what are we going to manifest with the I am energy, with the word? Are we going to nail him back to the cross because we have to have what we want? Or are we going to manifest by love, through love, for love? If you can manifest anything you want, if you could attract anything you want, why are you not attracting eternal life? Why are you not trying to manifest peace on earth? Or no one being homeless, or getting rid of the big governments and creating an agorist society full of free will and no coercion and love and peace? And why are you not choosing to create more balance where animals have as much freedom as humans do, where there aren't animals hit on the road every day by cars? And I could go on and on and on about what people should create if they're such good manifestors. I mean, if you're so wonderful at manifesting, shouldn't you want to manifest something real, something eternal, something that matters? And that is what the matriarchal, the feminine, has been doing. But because it's so subtle, it's so kind, it's so gentle and self effacing, the masculine energy has a tendency to run over it and ignore it. And just because you can't see it and you can't see it in dollar signs doesn't mean we aren't doing it. We are making waves. As a matter of fact, I would claim to say that both Jesus and Buddha managed to actually completely evolve their masculine and feminine. They understood receptivity was just as important as their masculine energy, and they gave up everything. I mean, the interesting story with Buddha is that he had it all. He had a life like Solomon, and he gave it all up for genuine joy. Solomon never would. That's why his life sucked, even though he had everything. And so I encourage people to do a lot more study of mysticism. Do your natal chart. Do but deep meditations to see if you can remember your past lives. Don't just study one religion. And I know Christians hate that. But to be honest, like my mom had once made a comment that she thinks Buddhists are more dangerous than Satanists because it's so insidious. And it's sad the ignorance involved with that, because I felt like Buddha is actually a huge missing gap between the haves and the have-nots. Jesus never really had anything in this life, and Solomon had it all. And it's kind of odd because, like, I think Buddha was almost born like in between the two or somewhere, and it was like he had both. He had it all and then he had nothing. And I feel like there's so much to learn from the unbinding, the letting go of attachments that he had to teach us, and more of us could learn from that. Why are we isolating ourselves and trying to, segregate ourselves instead of actually learning the more eternal perspectives? And I do feel like more and more people are trying to manifest the more feminine, subtle aspects of saving the environment, of caring about nature, and being one with nature. That is rich. That is wealth. It really is. It's not having these expensive cars. It's not having a lot of followers, even though it is beneficial to have some so that your word gets out. I can talk like this all day long, but if it reaches no one, what good is it, right? But I do have a few subscribers on this channel, a very, very small handful, but every one is special. Each and every person who listens is worthy. Each and every person is a life. And we have that opportunity to each have a butterfly effect on the world, a domino effect. I'm very little, I'm very meek. I believe in what that Saint Teresa of Lisieux, the little flower, did. I have that picture. My Scotch Irish, that's what she called herself, by the way. So if y'all want to argue, she's dead, but you could argue with her if you wanted. She had very red hair, it turned white as snow when she was older. I am 1/3 Irish. It's kind of ironic because it's going to be St. Patty's Day tomorrow, and my last name is Ward, and that's from my father's side. And I'm like 1/3 Irish, almost 1/3 Scottish, and then I have some Scandinavian, Wales, and British. But she was Scotch Irish, and she had a Saint Teresa of Lisieux picture that was framed from her father, who was a pastor. And he wasn't even Catholic pastor. So it was really weird. I'm thinking you're Scotch Irish, but yet you're not a Catholic, but yet you have a Catholic picture of a saint who probably wasn't even canonized until the turn of the 19th century. It's really weird. But she sticks with me because she believed in small acts of kindness, because she was so frail and she couldn't do great big deeds, but her tiny little deeds, they live on. To this day, her spirit, I could cry. Her spirit creates miracles, little tiny miracles in this world. And that's what I want to be. I don't want to ever be big and rich and obsessed with fame, and my vibration attracts glory and praise and big numbers in the bank account. I want peace on earth is what I want. I want to end death and suffering. I don't want to see the poor and the needy and the animals in shelters. I don't want to see rapists and perverts hurting anyone else, okay? I mean, I'm sorry, but this is where my values are. If I could create a better world, that's what I want. If I could create a world where these rich elites can no longer use us for profit and, do commodity trading and have stock markets that control all of the assets in our country, that's what I would do. And there's not much I can do. I'm a tiny little girl in this world. I really am. But one little voice, it does make a difference. And this tiny feminine voice matters too. I may not have as many followers as this guy does, but I can tell you that it is not all about your vibration. You do not need to feel ashamed of yourself if you attracted a narcissist, okay? A lot of times there's many higher things at play. Yes, you can attract one if you are not honoring yourself. I would say it's not about vibration as much as are you honoring yourself, because I really wasn't fully honoring myself when this person came into my life. I was so close though. I was on the path. I was on the path already. I didn't need this destruction to get there, but the glory in it is that when Satan pulls you back, God turns you into an arrow and he projects you into your destiny that much faster. I was easing into my destiny, and God said, no, it's time to get there faster. So through this pain and suffering, I became who I was so much quicker. And some of you out there who have attracted narcissists, don't shame yourself, but you do need to get honest with yourself. Most of the time, if you are full of living water, overflowing, if you are naturally an empath, a psychic, and intuitive, and you tap into source and you're overflowing with the divine living water, you need to remember that the thirsty want to drink from your cup, from your holy grail that you are. You're the temple of the Holy Spirit. You are the grail. Okay. And when you overflow with that beautiful holy water, thirsty people want to drink from you. And here's the irony, okay? Even if you were at a low vibration, obviously you taste good. Because if you didn't taste good, no one will be wanting to drink from your water. Nobody really wants to drink from the water of arrogant fools because their water tastes bitter. But when you're humble and you're kind and you're loving and you're always rescuing the underdogs and you're always taking in those that need help who have nobody else, you're going to end up taking in some narcissists too. But you need to ask yourself, where are your boundaries? A city on a hill cannot be hidden, but those gates can be locked. Now, those who build high walls do invite destruction. That is written too. And that is what I also think happened to me because I thought if I built really high walls, really strong boundaries, I would be okay. And you do need better boundaries. But the problem is there's always some thief who will find out a way to get in. But each and every time a narcissist comes into your life, you might be able to get better and better at learning when to say no, because it took me a lot longer the last time to say no, probably 7 to 9 years, whereas this time it took less than 3. And I've turned down many a narcissist, okay? Many. So it's not like I let that many in that long. It's just that if you are a mystic or an empath or an intuitive, and especially if you're someone who has a lot of empathy, those who are greedy are going to want to take advantage of that. And don't shame yourself for that. Understand these lessons had to be learned. You may have had a karmic contract with that person, and you might have saved their soul because of all of your prayers, because of the lessons this person will have to face and learn, whether they like it or not. Even if they walked away sour and somewhat possessed and evil, you may have saved them. You may have signed up for this because you wanted to give them a chance. Don't down yourself over that. Don't let people shame you over that. Don't feel bad because you know how to love. Don't feel bad because you care. Don't feel bad because you're overflowing with empathy and water to share. Okay? Don't do that. It's not right. When someone is writing the high life and they're shaming you and making you feel bad about yourself, they're making money off of your sorrow, okay? There's quite a few male narcissistic recovery channels who are like, you're codependent and you're this and you're that, and that's why you attract narcissists, and buy my book and you'll get better. I'm sorry, but they're making money off of people. They break you and then rebuild you in their image. That's what narcissists do. They break you and rebuild you in their image. Even this positive, um, toxic positivity tarot reader will break you, build you in their image. That's what they do. That's how narcissists work. And they don't all mean to do it to harm you. They're not all aware of their narcissism, okay? My own father does the same thing. He thinks he knows what's best. I will break you, rebuild you in my image. I'm going to break you and break you and break you again and rebuild you in my image, and or whatever image they need you to portray in their life. And a lot of people are doing that out there, especially masculines, to make a profit. And you cannot be spending your life blaming yourself, because blaming and shaming yourself into trying to have a high vibration is just not going to work. You need to get real with yourself. And it is true. Do you have joy on the inside? You do need to be happy on the inside. You do need to actually be content alone. It comes from within. The kingdom of heaven is inside of you. The living water is inside of you. If people were thirsty enough to drink from you, obviously there's something in there, okay? And when are you going to value yourself and drink enough too? And that's for those of you who don't. But many of you, if you do already value yourself, then you certainly can't let people shame you because they blame you because you allowed a narcissist into your life. This is the name of the game. And to be honest, levels of narcissism exist in everyone. Okay. I know that they love to just target certain people with that label. And there are some that are more extreme than others. And I do believe some are perfectly possessed. They are evil. They have sold their soul and they work for the kingdom of darkness. And they have one goal and one goal only, and that is to snuff out the light. They specifically hunt out light workers and try to put our light out. They try to break us and keep us down because they do not want the light shining in this world. The darkness fears the light. And so, if your light has been snuffed out by a narcissistic person, you have got to work through it so your light can shine again, just like my light is shining a little bit more every single day. And we do still need to love and honor the people who have these, obsessive ideologies of manifesting, because maybe they are good at manifesting things in their own way. Maybe they are really helping society in their own way. But I do feel like the feminine, receptive people like me also have a voice. And I also feel like we have a lot to contribute because there's another thing that really bothers me with the whole law of attraction thing is that they say, like what you think, you manifest, and blah, blah, blah. Well, when you're a psychic, when you're born very, very psychic and in tune with the spirit world, you don't do nearly as much manifesting or trying to daydream your way into getting the reality you want as you do just observing and listening and learning. That's how we grow, by observing, listening, and learning. If you're so busy trying to get what you think you want, how are you going to observe what is there? And I have spent so much of my life observing, listening, watching, and picking up psychic downloads. And one time, just to give an example of how unavailable my parents were when I went through trauma, I was raped when I was 19, twice in one day by someone who was supposed to be a friend. And my dad told me to get over it. And my mom said, "Well, maybe you were thinking negative thoughts and you created it and you manifested this." And so and she's not even a new age person, guys, but she listens to the prosperity preachers. You know what I mean? Like she was listening to a lot of Joel Osteen and Joyce Meyer and things. So they kind of just have a Christian spin on this stuff, right? And I couldn't believe she said that to me. She literally told me that I created a rapist in my life. And I do agree with another comment on this guy's channel or video about, like, you really think babies manifest what happens to them? And it's true. Do you think babies manifest genocide and starvation? I don't think so. And it's like, many people have many vibrations and many frequencies and many desires and many needs, and everything is all around us. We're not an island unto ourselves. I'll say it again. And even though that hurt, I looked back and I was like, well, I did have visions of someone going to attack me. And what was really crazy was when I was in junior high, I had a dream that I was in prison and I was wearing orange. And a voice said, "You should have had mercy on him." And after I was raped, my husband at the time and his brother wanted to kill the rapist. And I kind of just almost didn't believe it because I was, um, I guess, because even when I was raped, it's almost like you disassociate and it just almost doesn't seem real. And so when they said they were going to kill him and they were going to bring me along, I just almost still didn't believe it. Like, no, this is just, it's not going to happen. Right. And they lured him to the lake and they had a gun and some ropes and they were going to kill him. And I guess I'm going to put a disclaimer in here because, talking about a few dark things that people will get mad about. So anyway, when it finally, I felt spirit when I was there that night kind of come over me because someone had been killed in that same spot over drugs years before. And I felt something say, warn him now. And I just kind of remembered that dream from years before. And I just yelled for him to run. And I said, "Run, run, they're going to kill you, run." And he got in his vehicle and he drove off real fast. And my husband and his brother got extremely furious with me. My husband became so much more abusive than he already was, a lot of marital rape. He was always in strip clubs with his brother after work. And I was so mistreated then. And I asked my parents if I could come home, and they even said no. You made your bed, lay in it. Like, that's how unavailable my parents were. Okay. Now, the thing is I believe that my visions and everything, it was destined to happen. It wasn't a vibration or anything. And what's so awful is psychics have visions. And when we have visions, if someone tries to tell us we're attracting something because we have visions, it's wrong. Some things are destined to happen. Some things are out of our hands. And that's something that psychics really understand. People who are not genuinely in tune with their psychic abilities don't understand that. And the more in tune you are with your divine feminine, the more receptive and psychic you become. And I do believe I saved myself from going to prison that night, because had they killed him, I probably wouldn't be here now talking to you. I'd probably be wearing orange. And um the odd thing is the rapist ended up in prison for armed robbery after that, and he's been in and out of jail ever since. So um anyway, let me think. um so I guess I'm gonna wrap things up, but I will say that there's so much more to life than the law of attraction. There's so much more to attracting narcissists than your vibration. And I just really wish that in the New Age, the metaphysical movement, more of the masculine would slow down and be receptive enough to listen to what the feminine have to say. We may not make as much money as you. We may not have as many followers as you, but we have a form of wisdom that can't be bought with gold or silver. We have something more. I love you guys, and I bless you until next time.